What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players, to another installation of the Siege Double Shot coming at you ACGL style. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. Say hello, Whiskey.
Welcome everyone to which is one of the first installations here of the AGCL, so ACGL, the African League. We're bringing a little bit of that here to NA and hopefully sharing awareness, spreading some love for that region of the world and the players that are playing in it, because I don't think they've gotten quite enough exposure that they deserve. And we've got a couple of great teams set up for this league for today. So F6 and ASAKURA. So, what do you think, my friend?
I think it's a best of three banger, and we're going to be here hopefully getting to all three of them. Let's take a look at not potentially, where we are going for the maps here. Let's take a look at the map bands.
All
All right,
right.
as you said it's a best of three. So right out the gate, you can see that Skyscraper and Night Haven going to be taken out. Both the new maps going to be gone in the first bit here as Consulate is taken off the board, and Chalet and Oregon going to be our first two maps on the board, which pretty classic maps, Whiskey, eh?
Yeah, standard Siege. If you're going to start off in a new league, and these players for sure, ones that region of the world very familiar with, and we're hoping to get the NA region more familiar with, because I think starting off on maps that they're very familiar with, good call. And both of these guys wanting to try and win the first league here for the ACGL.
Yep, absolutely. And then Cafe and Border taken off, and it is going to be Dub House, going to be the decider. Should we need it to get there? Which, fingers crossed, right? This is our only siege for today, so we're hoping we're hoping it goes the distance. We want all the siege we can get out of the new league for us.
Yeah, that's right. So I think we've got the lobby just about ready to go. Maybe 20 seconds left. So wanted to say we can talk just about a couple of the players real quick, because both of these teams have got some known ones. And I'd say when you look at F6, they're one of the favorites here to win the league for sure. And they've got some absolute gunners on that team. It's a collection of some great gunners. So you've got Sosa, drop shot, and figure. Those guys are going to have to watch out for. The other team, Asakura, more of a team-based play style. So the question is, are the individual gunners going to be able to take on the team that plays very well together? We're going to find out.
Yes, it's a battle of the team versus individual heroics, and it's a best of three banger that starts right now. Taking us to map number one, we're headed to Chalet. Classic map, classic strats. And now we have seen a little bit of the meta switch, right? We've been seeing a ton of first floor play here in NA. I'm real curious on what we're going to see on the other side of it. Bravo going to be the first to be banned out.
Yeah, Bravo. Okay, not surprising there to see her gone, because Chalet has definitely morphed into one of those maps that uses a ton of electronic utility. You see, like the rise of Maestro on this. There's a couple great spots that the Maestro
That is
cams
the
are that are
greatest
difficult for the defense to
moment in my
manage.
life, bro.
It's a losing Brava for the attackers really enables the Maestro to be a much more useful and dangerous defensive operator. So we've definitely seen that rise happen.
Yep, and then of course the Dokkaebi to fall next. She's a standard ban apparently across the world. Just don't want to have to deal with that intel that you can get from gaining the cameras, and of course the devastation of the DMR. Solus to follow next, keeping in line with the specific patterns, and Azami to follow it up. I mean, this is definitely a standard lineup. So it looks like across the world, bans don't change. OP ops are just OP ops, and it's not a playstyle thing. Good to know. That's comfortable. I love it. Dokkaebi's my permaban, so I'm in line.
Yeah, for sure. And Azami, she's really been a great operator for the upper floors there in the Chalet. And because you've got such a big hold upstairs happening for whether or not you're in the 2F location or you're in the one of the 1F sites, Azami and the way that she puts up those holds, I think, has been an important part of the reason she's increased in her ban rate on Chalet.
Yeah, absolutely. That warfare just can't be stopped, and especially on a couple of those you said it 2F holds that are so important here. So on the defense, we are going to see uh, pretty standard lineup, except for the Tubarão being kind of one of the newer additions to the lineup. But Legion to slow him down, going to bring out that intel with the Valkyrie, and of course that C4. And Valkyrie also another operator that we see banned quite a bit on Chalet. So happy to see her brought out here. And then a nod towards traditionist, we're going to see Jaeger on the board, little projectile denial to help solidify this. Probably the spot, yeah, the spot up here on the top mez area. And on the attack side, it's going to be pretty standard as well, right? We bring along the IQ. We're talking about intel and opportunity. IQ is one that provides that by being able to suss out exactly where those Valkyrie cameras are. Bring out the ace for the breach, Thatcher to back them up, and a little bit of verticality with the bug.
I love the fact that we're getting to see the way a different region plays the game too. So we talked about in the setup, Figure, one of those players on the F6 side, on the defensive side. He's got a kill record in the league, 32 kills in a best of one. So an absolute gunner. We're going to be watching out for him to see how he handles this. So and that first one, well, it's going to go down. That's the Jaeger. So he's got his utility down. The attacker's taking a little bit of a lead here. Going to try and get this first wall open using that Thatcher ace combo.
Yep, absolutely. So the body bounce is going to get equalized here. Is Barcode going to get ripped off the board? Now putting us into a 4v3. Valkyrie also going to find her life forfeit in that last engagement. Still got a minute and 35, so plenty of time for this attack team to suss them out and figure out exactly where. They're going to start opening up that main breach at the top mez here. Balcony. But Tubarão going to slow it down. And the Cade going to potentially take them off.
Yeah, so I would say, like you called it, a very standard setup here from, we talked about seeing the way a different region plays the game, but those push points into Chalet off this fluke balk, opening up that main breach on the mezzanine, taking a couple shots through the door, very standard way they're playing. So the way that we were expecting this ASAKURA team to play much more together, much more set up, and you talk about the fact that teams when they're playing very well on attack, that is when you win the game of Siege in the defensive meta that we're in. So I think they're definitely looking to see more of that standard 4-2 split, and that'll be what we're looking for. With the plants already going down on that half wall, they're making it happen here on round 1.
Yep, that's going to be the planter that does die, now taking us into a 3v2. You got to have 7 seconds on the board to get that defuse started. Otherwise, you have just plumb run out of time, so it is going to be Cade. Going to try and find where the heck these players are. It's going to go for just... Oh, look at the shots.
Oh, Figure, no!
Oh, my lord.
Figure running around like crazy, trying to find the kills, make it happen on the end, but... I mean, broke rule number 1. You run, you die. IQ in the waiting arms just outside the door. The Claymore might have got him if IQ hadn't have been there.
Yep. It was a great round by the attacking team. It all seemed to go together in their favor. A nice collective push. Took a couple of the stragglers off the board and then get the plant down. Bob's your uncle. Easy peasy. So take it to round number 2. We're going to see the defense call it to run it back. Couple of changes, just a few, right? They're going to double up on the breach denial this time. Has seen the bandit on the board. Going to add another C4 to the table. And then, of course, we talk about her all the time. If you play on Chalet, there's one thing that's consistent, and that is the frost. Doesn't matter when it comes out in the round, it's always going to be played on Chalet at least one time in the competitive scene, and we're going to see it here now as well.
Yeah, there's a couple great, you don't have as many doors to walk in as you do in some of the other maps that are as big and spread out. Like Oregon, you see a lot more of entry through the bunker, through the main lobby, right? But here on Chalet, you got a lot of windows that you're jumping in, so I think that really increases Frost utility, even with the change in the way that the mats are used, so that way you can get up out of them. I think we really did not see her pick rate drop off as much as we were expecting it was when that change was first announced, which I think is a good thing for all the Frost mains out there. So this defense bringing her along with the rest of very standard Chalet defense.
Yeah, and those frost mats, they're still a death sentence. It's close enough to get taken out. Generally, you don't have time to get up out of them still. So, still a very, very viable option, absolutely. It's just crazy the amount of times that we see it actually played on Chalet. And by that, I mean like every time. I don't know if we went a map without seeing Frost played at least once. So, the first minute is starting to wind down here as the attack team's doing their best to suss out where the heck these defenders are at, right? Poke, prod, try to find the weak spot. Where are they going to be able to make that push in? And they're going to find the isolated kill here. As Figure going to get taken off the board early, now giving the body balance over to the attack team.
Yeah, seeing now F6 team has lost the opening engagement now on these first two rounds. They converted that first one into a win. We'll see whether or not they can hold on, but they are running sort of that same setup. Have the ace open up that main breach on mezzanine and bringing out the IQ to suss out one of the things Chalet definitely good for, hiding the Valk cams in the rafters. Really makes IQ almost essential to have her along to see whether or not they can deny some of that defensive utility. And so far, they've been doing a good job of that, keeping IQ alive first, and then being able to get rid of that utility second.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we sit now about to wind our last 63 seconds down, and we're sitting just about 5 volts. Going to be the C4 comes out, not going to amount to anything. No joy on that throw, giving away a little bit of a location. So take a second peek. The bravery here.
Yeah, Kaid holding the door, not looking at the half wall. I mean, he's got a little bit of a pinch there, trying to decide which way is the way I'm gonna be able to look. Gonna try and get the Frost involved in holding that office door as well. And there it is, gonna take down the IQ. So hopefully she was able to get enough of that utility gone. I don't think she's gonna be recoverable in that current position.
Yep, and with her down, takes us into a 3v2 as the defense starts to feel favored here. Oh, 3v1 as I
No!
go down and Frost. There it is. That's why you bring Frost to Chalet, a triple to end it off, all in the same spot.
Oh, Walvis there taking down three in the final. That was two downs with the final kill as well. That half wall holding the angle from the bathroom door. You just can't get far enough behind the half wall to hide. So she's able to just take out, shoulder, knee in that crouch position, and it devastated him from that angle.
Yep, absolutely. Showing exactly why you bring Frost to Chalet. Okay, so there you go. We're going to see some basement action here. So they're going to find their first win on the defense off the back of some individual heroics. So not sticking to that first floor meta, that age of verticality that we've been seeing. Going to opt to go down to the basement instead. It's a little bit of a tough one, the basement, right? It's got so many avenues of attack. There's so many different places that you can make your push from that a well put together attack team's going to have a split approach coming and go for the pinch maneuver.
We've definitely seen and we talk about it all the time on our stream here in NA, the shift towards the first floor meta because of the verticality of Siege, but not every region had sort of taken that same approach, right? It was adopted much later in the EU leagues that we cast in, so we'll see sort of where Africa falls on that spectrum of, is the first floor meta an important part of it? Because for sure 2F and basement were the main sites on Chalet for several years. It's only been as we rolled into the second half of year 8 and the first half of this year 9 season 1 that we've sort of seen that first floor shift. So sort of trying to feel out where do they fit in.
Yep, and here's going to be the first part of that two-pronged attack. They're going to have the ram on the board, going to start opening up all of that soft breach floor, really trying to create that fish in a barrel situation where they're just picking off people from above, and that's going to be the first to go. Is not Edward going to find his life forfeit? It is going to get traded out. Is the Bana going to fall as well? quickly to follow it up, it is going to be the Legion now putting us into a 4v3. It just walks into sight. Thermite not afraid, going to take Cade, and now that is going to be the plant going down. Yet again, very objective-based gameplay here. Now Valkyrie on the retake, heading towards that snowmobile, but she doesn't know that somebody's in closet, and she's going to get flashed out. So pushes into blue, flashes again, ringing. Something fierce now.
Yeah.
Start to
Look, the Grim just holding Valkyrie back in the corner. They're not able to push up. Walvis playing on the west main stairs, just not able to gain any ground. This defensive anti-flank utility, the flashes coming out, has absolutely kept the defense locked in place. Not able to get to
Oh,
push up there. Even if they're gonna grab two, there's not gonna be enough time as we roll past the 7-second mark.
Yep, did a great job as attackers become defenders, defenders become attackers, and that now they were just holding on to side like it was normal play. It's going to be one for the attackers on an objective based gameplay yet again.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're going to see the first timeout come relatively early from F6. Oh, tech pause for FPS bug. All right, well, you know what? I'd say to me that's nice gameplay there from the F6 side, using the timeout to do it. Maybe we're gonna have to take a quick tech pause if he's not back in before the timeout runs out. But I was thinking it was a little bit early to take a pause in a best of three on the first map with just that one, just basically one loss, the 2-1. But that makes sense.
Yep. Yep, that's right. So pause going to be done data, and nobody. Yep, he's not going to make it back in. So it looks like we are going to have to find ourselves on a little bit of a break. As everybody going to start to do the rehost thing. All right, folks, sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you the stunning conclusion of the first map. Ayo.
Let's go.
All right, what's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Tech pause done. Data sayonara. See you later. So we're gonna get back into it. So we're gonna head back down to the basement. So it seems to be a pattern developing, Mr. Run. Right? We do the run it, the attack wins it, run it back, defense adapts and brings a new strategy to the table.
Yep, I agree. That's exactly what we were likely to see. But haven't seen them make the adjustment there to the first floor site, so I think that's like we talked about, still sort of playing in that mid year 8 kind of meta, which not unexpected, right? It's seen the regions adapt to that strategy differently every time.
Yeah, so on the defense, we are going to see a couple of fun operators on the board. Fenrir going to be one of the big keys here as he puts one of his gadgets inside the dryer there to really stop that. I love the Fenrir, right? We don't get to see him too often because he's absolutely goaded at the stopping the push from coming in, right? It directs where the team can push from. It sets the pace of the game. And so when we're allowed to see him, boy, he is just about unstoppable. All right, here we go. Getting started. Drone's going to start to do their work. We're going to suss out where the heck
That
those
is the
defenders are on the
greatest
attacking side.
moment in my life,
Lineup.
bro.
I'm going to bring along the intel. That's the Grim with those bees. Going to open up the floor, send in some bees, and allow the people in the basement to start to go to work. Saw the thermite push in on that last round. You see some of those Fenrir gadgets starting to get to work.
Yeah, they tried the snowmobile push, right? Last round, did they plant wine or was it snowmobile? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was wine, right? I think they opened up and came in through the back, but I'm
Looks
also
like they're
not sure.
trying that same strategy again, right? Ignore. There's usually a lot of focus there on the snowmobile wall, but okay, rather than use the thermite to get it open, they've got the Hibana, they've got the hard breach, and again using the bees to try to block off any of that flank from the defense. And Moxie going to take down Edward, or not Edward, as it were. They've got access to wine open there. They're going to take a swing and see whether or not they can push some of this defense back. Deplete, gone off the board. Not enough room, and they're going to plant between the barrels again. Thermite getting that diffuser down. Malusi going down. It is, I was about to say, it's all up to Whale and Fish.
Let's go. Okay, so a post-plant scenario. Clock starts to count down. Two members of the attack team do fall, putting us into a 3v2. The C4 to ring out. Bunch of damage. Going to send Valkyrie to the ground. Not going to be able to detonate that C4, and so it's all going to be resting on the shoulders now of Fish. Who's going to start to make that push in, but it's crossfire set up everywhere. No chance to be had. And that is going to be another round win for the attack team. And you know what, Whiskey? Objective-based gameplay is probably one of my absolute favorites, right? I love when they're going in and getting the plant down. They're not waiting for anything. They're exactly what they're doing is they're setting up each member of the team to all collapse onto the site at the same time. And you know what? As soon as the initial push starts happening, it seems to start to fall apart, right? They get that initial pick, and then everybody looks towards that direction, and then the flank happens. And we've seen that now for quite a few rounds in a row, which means they're pulling off a pretty decent. I like the strat. I like it. It seems like they all have their watches synced up.
We did talk about that's what we thought the competitive advantage was going to be for this ASAKURA team over the F6, right? The team of gunners taking on, how do you beat a team of gunners? Well played, synced up, like you said. They got their watches set. It's exactly what you need to do. They've already taken 3 on attack. Right, we would have said that standard split on Chalet, 4-2 to the defense, but they have already gone past the quota, already gotten themselves into that successful 3-round advantage on the attacking side. F6 has got to make it up. So, question is, are they going to be, you know, able to come back on their defensive half and have the same level of success that Asakura is having on attack? It's a big question for F6 there.
Yep. That's true. So a little bit of a focus on this main lobby here as they're trying to draw out Valkyrie, get her taken off the board to try and get that man advantage back. Here's a little bit of a fun operator. Capcan gonna make his way into the field. Not gonna be in the early round, not gonna be the late, right in the middle, and is gonna lose his life as I'm talking about him. Unfortunate. We're gonna see Weld go down next as we find ourselves back into that 5v3. If I had to guess, I imagine that we're probably gonna see the plant going down in the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, still at 2 minutes left in this round. Plenty of time left for them to be able to get this to happen. And oh, a couple shots coming down there. You know, one of the things we talked about, or have not talked about yet, was the fact that F6 was sort of missing their main gunner, and I think that's sort of holding them back, right? They're having to play with the sub. They don't have drop shot playing for them right now, which we definitely expected him to be one of the players that was here. So I don't know whether or not that is a big piece of what they're struggling with right now is they're trying to get together with a sub. We know that's always difficult from a competitive level of Siege.
Oh, and as the C4 rings out, Saw gonna find the kill on to Deplete. Through the Fenrir, unafraid, takes the shot, takes the swing, and it's over. So yet again, we're just seeing Chalet being a little bit more attacker heavy, which is something we've seen before. This is not wholly unexpected. You know, we say it's a classic map and then it can go either way. Generally considered defensive sided, but with a team that's got a well put together attack team, this new defensive meta feels like a good shift in their direction. So find ourselves one round away from the half here. And if F6 can find themselves one, as long as they're bringing that same aggression, which I don't doubt that they were, the Gunners being that they are, then I could see this first map being the first one to go to OT.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see how is F6 going to respond to it, right? And, you know, didn't talk so much about Dropshot just because he wasn't one of the members that was playing to start with, but I mean, he's definitely widely considered one of the best gunners in the Africa scene. So, and we were sort of expecting a lot of runouts and spawn peaks on the defense to try and hold the attacking team back, maybe get them to waste a little extra time. And I definitely think that the Asakura team is taking advantage of that, right? You talked about having them enough time to set things up, everything in sync, and they definitely seem to be playing and taking advantage of that.
Yep, absolutely. Going to be back up to the top. Deception. Talking about spawn peaks. There you go. You're going to get one. Well, going to find the first kill onto Deception, given the body bounce tipped over in favor of F6. That's a good way to start it here if you're trying to get that standard split for yourself. And going to start to take a peek here at the Fluke Valk. Fluke Balk, excuse me. Put some action on it and try to get a way to open up. It's probably going to be that, well, Ace is off the board as well. So they're going to find themselves in a bit of a tough spot. Going to have to push in a little bit more of the traditional way. Maestro camp going off in the distance. The new adaptation here by the defense. Give a little intel, but maybe some intel that also shoots back. Not a bad play here, Whiskey. So that's the first minute gone, and the defense is going to find themselves in some favor. Now all they got to do is sit back, relax, and rest themselves on the trade game.
Yeah, and we talked about the fact that we were expecting the Maestro to be an important part of the defensive hold, and you can hear those going off, right? I think that's exactly why we saw F6 ban out the Brava, starting on defense, using the Maestro, and you're going to have to either use some of that explosive utility or some of that EMP utility to try and deny that. So I think it's great that Figure is bringing him out and continuing to try and push on that, use a little bit of that offensive defensive utility to try and hold back the attackers.
Yep, and so they're able to get Barcode back up, taking us into a true 4v2. A couple of pre-fires ringing out. It's going to be Twitch walking up to the piano to take this first engagement. There's two to make the swing, so they're going to have to be careful and on points with the shots. It's a good thing it's a one-shot headshot. Smoke it off, now give themselves a chance to push in. Bailiff out and ready to take that engagement as well. It's going to be Grim on a low health, and he's going to get taken down by Fish. Fish is going to lose his life in the process, and a double to be found out now makes this a little bit more winnable in a 1v2. 30 seconds on the clock as it starts to tick down, and the hunt as Saw is becoming a predator looking for these last two members. You know the cross is going to be set up, and he's going to get another down, putting us into a 1v1 situation. 17 seconds on the old-fashioned showdown. Picks up the diffuser. Now he has it in hand. Going to get himself in place for a plant. 8 seconds left. They're going to start looking for the push, but it's the Maestro.
The Maestro! The Maestro!
He's going to take it down! What a play. Thought he was giving it away, but not to be dismayed. It is the Maestro. Cams that can shoot back for the win.
Wow, unbelievable there. That's how we got to see it go down. We talked about the setup. They prepped for it all the way back in the ban phase to be able to secure that win. So they are going to find their final win there on the defensive half. Taking that with the Maestro Cam, what a great way to make it happen.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a momentum shifter, right? That's a chalker getting taken down by Cam. A less traditional way to die on Siege. So it is. We're going to switch gears. So we're going to see the op swap. And our first little bit of that first floor meta that we were talking about. I'm happy to see that. On the defense, we are going to bring about the Doc. Doc was something we've seen quite a bit used in that library corner, or potentially to hold up on that top mez area, maybe towards Fluke Bout. But really great at holding that library corner, especially if they bring along those Capitaos to try and burn them out. Keep those stims, keep himself alive during the duration, holding on to that pivotal piece of real estate. On the other side of it, attackers getting ready. We're going to see our first look at F6 attack. And it's going to look very similar to what we were seeing on the other side of the board. Going to bring out some intel in the form of Grim Ace to bring that hard breach, open up a few of those walls or hatches that deemed necessary. And then, of course, Deplete, bringing out the Flores. Flores is great for that extension util specifically. I imagine there is a deployable shield at the top of blue stairs there, library stairs, and he'll be specifically used to get that down so they can take that crucial piece of real estate, put the pinch on the player in the library. Now puts us into a hurry up and wait scenario. The first minute has already ticked down. And we're going to know that they've got... Oh, and Doc isn't playing up in the library. He's put himself down onto the stairs. A little bit cheekier of a position. Try to catch somebody slipping or sleeping. Got a Cam watching as well. So we do have... And the shield. Oh, there's two shields. Never mind. Okay, shield is on the top mez as well. Okay, I'm here, guys. I've got it. We've got this. I'm not thrown off by the stat even a little bit.
Look at that,
okay.
The stack up of the attackers on the other side of that shield, holding down the office, just getting a look on that. That's deployable, holding top blue. They have got themselves set up and ready. They got to watch for the cross there, though, on the other side of Mez. Hopefully the defense can try and hold on to that, but attackers making the push right now.
That's right, and that's going to be the first bit of casualties. Is the Warden and the Grim going to get taken off the board? Minute 16 left on the... Still on the clock. We still hold some pretty pivotal pieces of real estate. It's going to be the Doc going to take Buck off the board as he's ripped down in that 45 hallway. Nomad to fall next now as Moxie going to get that kill onto Figure, filling his body's full of lead. Now puts us into a 4v2 situation. We still have plenty of time here. Oh, just misses out on a shot across. Take a bit, giving away his location. So now the crossfire going to start to be set up. It's the last alive here. Mr. Deplete for the attack team. He's all alone.
Left all alone, and Moxie gonna win the fight against Deplete, though. Great hold there, holding the library. Didn't have an angle. That reinforcement perfectly placed for them to be able to take it as well. So 5-2. F6 is just not finding success on the attack, and that's exactly what they need. Asakura going to head downstairs, though, and try out one of these first floor sites. We didn't see that at all on the F6 side. They were 100% 2F in basement.
Yep. So now two defensive rounds on the swap, two defensive first floor sites, and this is just a wonderful blend of contemporary and traditional siege, right? We're watching one that's a little bit more in the traditional sense, right? The 2F, the basement locations, bring your standard operators, and then you have the other side of it, more the contemporary take. We're seeing operators like Castle on the board and the new Malusi that's coming. That is now a viable threat yet again. So, kitchen dining, gonna take the castle upstairs. I love the castle call. It's one of my favorites on the kitchen dining because he's really gonna be great at directing traffic, really gonna be great at solidifying the hold on the 2F, where all of that vertical pressure is gonna be placed out. Generally like to see a Osa brought out here to help hold that fluke balk area and that main lobby, main wall. Um,
Ooh,
get
that's
out, get some
interesting.
utility outside.
I don't think I've seen the Malusi played outside on the balcony before. I think that's literally a first. And casting more than almost 200 maps here in 2024, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. Surprise us. And they did so. That's what I love about new leagues. All right, what you're seeing now is Fenrir are going to start to move those gadgets around. They've got a little bit of an idea where the push is starting to come from. They've already got some library control, which is not as vital here when we're talking about the kitchen dining setup.
A lot of
But the
times you
next
see that teams just give up the whole library and mezzanine for free and try and control the other half of the map through the double into piano, or at least hold on to the breach. Just because you're right, you don't need to spend as much defensive resources holding on to that side of the map. It's really more of a stall game at that point. But with almost half the round gone, perfect time for the defense to try and back themselves up and hold on more to the important half of the map.
Yep. You hold on to library on a kitchen dining defense if you're SBL, and that's it. Who love that castle approach?
Well, and really, that's more of a slowdown approach as well, too, right? They're not really holding on to library, just discouraging the team from entering it, as opposed to keeping that space. But would love to see some other teams try and incorporate that style of play in. But I know absolutely love Castle, so seeing him used in more of the defensive meta is always a good thing.
Yep, absolutely. Speak of Castle, he's going to find the kill on the not Edwards. That's going to equalize the body count here. 60 seconds start to wind down as we've got some devastatingly long angles being held here. A little bit of a attention towards that main lobby. They're going to start to open that up and prep themselves for a potential objective here. Try to get that plant down. Try to get yourself in a spot where you can guard the diffuser without putting your life in too much danger. We're still 4-4 here with 30 seconds. That means when the kills start to happen, folks, they are going to fly out of here. Oh, and it's the self-flash.
Oh,
Unfortunate. Not going to allow
no.
him to take the kills. The Legion Goo comes into the foot. Ram going to pay the price for self-flashing. Now puts us into a 4v3. 20 seconds left on the board. You hear it, folks. That's the bees. Bees are coming out. It means the execute is coming. They're searching for these defenders. Moxie going to find himself a double deception onto one. Now it's all onto Figure's shoulders. Takes one. Gets a little bit of damage. Puts him into a 3v1. But it's 4 seconds left. So we find ourselves in a it's too little. It's too late. Defender's going to win that round.
Well, and the defense played that exactly the way you wanted to see it, right? Just at the end of that, when you eventually got down to one attacker left, two of the defenders were still playing upstairs in Master, looking down through the hatch. They had complete vertical control of sight, in addition to the Legion who was playing back further, closer to the trophy side, and just taking shots. They had the wall open. They didn't have the complete breach with just using the Hibana pelts to get that thing open, but perfectly played from the defensive side, holding on to the vertical control. Even if she had been able to win the gunfight on the Legion, no way that Nomad was going to be able to make a push in with the vertical hold. So exactly why we've seen the rise of 1F as the important and best played sites from a defensive perspective on Chalet, and F6 is not adapting to that the way that I think they were hoping. This was Asakura's map pick, though, to be fair. So what we're going to see next is Oregon F6's map pick. We're going to see how they handle that one. This is where they wanted to go and take the game. So I expect we might see a little bit of a different strategy as that one plays out.
Yep, I think you're right. So we find ourselves on that coveted match point scenario, and it's going to be on F6 here to really start to try to rein this one back in. Kind of talk some win conditions there. We're going to be the first test for this Asakura, as they're going to be on their tertiary site. Now, here's the deal with the first floor meta being the new, right, the contemporary hold. They're very familiar with where the tertiary site is being played out, so no longer considered, you know, one of the tougher sites to beat. The tertiary, this is just like putting on a, what is it, an old glove? It fits.
Yep, like an old glove, well formed.
Yeah, see, I was there. I just wasn't quite there. Okay, defense up top, gonna still utilize the castle here. I love the call. A couple of slowdown operators and bringing out the maestro as well. A little sad we haven't seen any demos play just yet, but of course, as a new operator, still trying to figure out how he fits into the lineup. And there's going to be the first kill. How's he going to go down? Given the body balance shifting over in favor of F6, and that's, of course, the way that you want to start out if you're trying to hang on. If you've got to be perfect for 4, it starts with this first one. Barcode holding on to Fluke Bauk. Pixel peeking. So starting, they're going to get that main wall opened up here as Ace starts to utilize those Selma breaches, but Ash going to have her life forfeit as now that body balance gets equalized there, and that's your entry gone. Figure going to be no more.
Oh, no, peeking on the door. Saw sitting there ready for it. Definitely unfortunate. And geez, another boy. It is all the way down to deplete. We are on match point, map point here. Deplete has got to find a way to get 3 kills in the next 55 seconds to even have a shot at pushing it to overtime, and then they'd have to be perfect for 3 more rounds after that. This one looks like it's potentially time to get ready for map 2. No shot on F6, but this is a hard climb back, especially with, it looks like they've got the maestro in the library with him, so they know exactly where he's at.
Yeah, that's going to make it absolutely difficult. And he's going to start getting blasted from behind on the gadget. It's going to be Shaw on the ace? Let's go. Not moving out of his location. He single-handedly takes the last round of the map for his team. 7-2 on the victory.
That's exactly what they needed. Let's go, my friend. An ace to end it. Saw the MVP exactly where he belongs. Great round there from him.
Yep, absolutely. Just want to say real quick, thank you so much for all the subs and follows. It's just meant the absolute world to us. If you did get one of those new subs, check out the Ace emote that we've got in there. You now get to, or is that in that one?
Oh, the ace comes with the bit donation.
Oh, the bit donation. Well, a bunch of cool emotes for you to check out. Huge thank you to Anonymous and Queen for those, and everybody else that has subscribed this evening. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the lobby set back up for map number 2. So sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're bringing you another map. Bayo!
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are back at it for map number 2. I am still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter. This is still my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What you think, Whiskey?
A great first map, definitely unexpected from what we were expecting to see from the F6 side. We were really expecting those guys to turn up. They were the favorites to win the league, or one of, and were not expecting to see a 7-2 victory on the side of ASAKURA to start with. So Oregon F6 map pick, they've already got this thing going. We did change out the observers, so the stream should be a little bit smoother this time. So let's get into it, my friend.
That's right, baby. So it's Oregon, a classic, one we've seen quite a few times, maybe once or twice, I guess. But hoping to see, because we're in a new region, hoping to see something new being brought to the table, right? Maybe a new strat that we're going to see. It's so far been pretty similar in the blend of contemporary and traditional Siege. Let's see if that's going to play out the same way here on Oregon.
Indeed, like you've said, we've seen some amazing Oregon games for sure, and we've seen some boring ones. So it's kind of 50-50, right? And we're not sure which version of Siege are we going to see. Are we going to see, you know, the very classic tactical Oregon play? Or are we going to see some interesting stuff? So the question, one of the big questions is on the F6 side. Didn't see them bring out anything crazy on Chalet, but this is their map pick starting out on attack. Let's see what they can do.
Yep. Okay, defense, let's talk about it. One highlight off right out the gate is going to be the Orcs, right? Fastest man in R6, both horizontally and vertically when he is giving it the gusto. So he's going to be on that roam game, and I can appreciate that. All the way up on the potential 2F to really stall out this defense. Stall's the name of the game here, Whiskey. They've got the Goyo and the Mute and the Aruni set up. They're looking to really make their face a long time to get into sight. Jeez.
Well, and if you're thinking you're playing against F6, a team that is known for being fast, a team that is known for fragging, right? Slow down, the name of the game generally in Siege, but even more important when you're playing a team, I think that ASAKURA had prepared for in this F6 roster. So I think to me that says again, good preparation and good teamwork here by the ASAKURA side to try and manage what was going to be a very difficult F6 team to deal with.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be Grim to take a little bit of damage. Grim's going to get a little bit back towards the side, but he's got a homie there, so they're ready to take that swing together. He reversed it right back in. He's ready to take this. I think Grim got the heck out of there.
Yeah.
No SMG-11 for me.
Yeah, lost more than 50% of his HP, so yeah, he's going to rotate out, try and find a new location to push from the attacking side. So, Walvis or Whale sitting upstairs along with Fish, trying to find... They're not being terribly aggressive from an attacking perspective, right? Even though they've got a little bit of the... You know, they've got the Flores, they've got the Ace to try and open up some of these lines of sight. To me, they're playing slow, and it's not just because Saw's upstairs.
Sheesh does get taken off the board. That's going to put us into a 4-4. What a shot, too. Holding on the ankle. He hit shot. Get rid of one of those Goyo canisters. Good, start getting them out now because, why? It's a minute left. These things last forever. So Floor's going to start putting those arrows down into sight. Getting rid of all of this extension util they have up in sight.
Yeah, looking... Deception waiting downstairs, playing by the barrels. We know that those blue stairs and into the pillar is going to be an important push point, or the hatch trap. And you can see one of the attackers sitting up there. You've got the Flores is trying to make a push in. They've definitely got it spread out. I'm worried that the attackers are too spread out and not ready to manage this defensive hold. And there it goes, Deception taking one. Walvis is going to grab a double, though. Deception's going to answer back with his own. Make it a triple. He's going to lose his life. It's down to a 1v1 with 10 seconds left.
10 seconds to go.
End up taking him off the board.
All right. right, a set of gunners. I was worried that the way we were seeing F6 set up that execute too spread out when you were down a man in the count, right? You had one guy approaching from barrels, one approaching from the hatch, one approaching from the stairs. Just seemed very spread out and a dangerous push down there. But it is a team of gunners. They were able to win a couple of those important gun battles there, even though Deception was trying very hard to hold off and prevent them from getting that distinct advantage on the attacking side. But they ended up making it work down to that 1v1. And going to lose another player for sure. One of the things we heard getting into this was that one of the players or several of the players potentially were on laptops. So we were expected that there was the potential for some restarts happening. We're going to see this one. Let's cross our fingers, though, that it doesn't turn itself into a rehost.
That's right. But while we do get that figured out, Whiskey, we're going to take a quick break. So sit back, relax. When we come back, we're going to bring you the rest of this map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are all back in and ready to go. We're going to head down to the Bunker Wars for round number 2. F6 did take one on the attack on the last round. And for it, it's a pretty good setup, right? You get to see some of your standards. Smoke to hold down that elbow with this area denial. Malusi to slow him down for those critical push points. Freezer and Laundry, potentially putting one on the back stair. More to see from any of those smoke attempts, especially for a quick rush, which is good because they did bring a Ying to the board. Not many operators for the quick plant, of course, but definitely somebody who will aid in the actual planting process if allowed to stay alive. Fish bringing out those candelas.
Yeah, we see her banned out at such an incredibly high rate in basically every league that we're a part of. So now, with again F6 banning Brava, I think when they get on their defense, hoping they're going to use a lot of electronic utility that they don't want to get stolen, it left Ying on the board available to play. So the question is whether or not she's going to be useful, because I really feel like she's a hit or miss operator. We see potentially because she's not played as often, we don't see strategies that involve her as an important part of the attacking push, with the exception of some of those rush plants, where I think if she's available more often, teams might try and incorporate her into their strategy. So it doesn't feel like she's as impactful as she could be. See whether or not, because it looks like F6 is keen to ban Brava routinely, that maybe she plays a more important role in their attacking lineups in general.
I like the way they've got this freezer wall set up, Whiskey. It's a half head high pole, and I think it's just a good play here. Not going to reinforce any of it. Really not allow the attack team to push up in any relative safety. It's not a bad play here. It is already keeping them at bay, restricting them to the stairs for that push. Now it seems to be that Jaeger's got a bit of intel here that somebody is sitting on those laundry stairs. He does have a homie here to support him as the smoke is doing the battle inside of freezer. Attackers at bay can take care of that Flores drone, no problem, and maintain his position.
Yeah, that was an important piece too. If Flores would able to get that drone off, it would have forced Jaeger out of that position. Then whoever was trying to hold those freezer stairs could have coordinated at the same time, watch for the Jaeger to run out into the open, because with that wall being open, would have not had an option there to try and survive it. So just good play from the defense to get that Flores drone out of the way before it forced the defender out of position. Figured, though, going to come down the stairs, going to lose too quick, and it is a 1v3 at this point. ASAKURA fighting to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, so it might just be a battle of the map pick here, Whiskey. Right? All of a sudden, on attack, the map that you're comfortable with, the map that you've trained for. This is the map you pick, so obviously you're going to have a bit of an attack strats going down. So, yet again, it's the plant in a 3v1 situation. Warden caught in the bunker area. We'll take a couple of free fires off to the usual. Whiskey's one is going to take a bunch of damage. Now we're going to 5 HP in a dream, and that dream's going to turn into a nightmare.
Not Edward making the rotate around. They did not have that wall reinforced into elbow. Free to available for use, both the attackers and the defenders there, as Nomad able to make that flank through elbow there and finish off the last defender. So yeah, F6 going up 2-0 to start this thing off. Are they going to go back? No, they're going to go ahead and try out a 2F hold here on defense. And I think you said it, right? Battle of the map pick. Right now, F6 definitely playing much like a different team than what we saw just a little bit ago. Had a little bit of an extended hold as we were trying to change up some things on the Proud side. So also a good opportunity for the team to talk it over. And but I think generally you're right that they're feeling much more comfortable and playing together on the attacking side much better than they did on Chalet.
So I wonder who's going to be favored when we eventually get to the decider. Which I'm saying win because I think this baby's going the distance. I can just see it. We'll go to the great equalizer to finish off this match. Just absolutely insane. So not going to see that first floor meta on Oregon. We don't see it in the NA as well. It just hasn't made that round yet, especially because one of those sites being just about unplayable almost lends itself to 100% attacker-sided or attacker-favored, and that, of course, being the kitchen dining area. So we are going to go up to the 2F location. give it a try from above for this first bit of round rotate.
I love being able to say that Kitchen Dining had a 0% defensive win rate, but Liquid had to go ahead and screw that up for us. So, but I mean, basically in the T4 siege scene, it's almost never played as well because of, like you said, such a difficult site to hold. Saw one of the interesting players, and just a note on him, right? He had an incredible game on Chalet and has been on the heavy roam and playing the Oryx, I think on all 3 of these defensive rounds. So I think that potentially looks like it's a bit of a handicap for the ASAKURA team because he's not on site to be able to help. Yes, he's putting some pressure on from that roaming perspective, but I wonder whether or not that's holding them back a bit.
Potentially, right? Loading mag. Okay, so we're gonna start seeing. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Probably right. So they're gonna start breaching into that attic area, get a little head hole set up, try to see if they can take out this player who's been kind of lodged inside. Now gonna get a second one to help back him up. Buddy system in full effect here.
Yeah, you've got the
here. Yep.
Mute is gonna peek it. Yeah, he does. He's gonna survive though. So now they're gonna ping him out with the Grim though, and see. Oh, they've got a Maestro Cam there holding, in addition to one of the observation blockers. No way, Mute wins that. Deception is going crazy today.
Hey, listen, intel and opportunity. That intel provided the opportunity for Mute to swing exactly at the right time, and he finds that kill. Maestro Cam being quite effective. Yow! L85 to claim a life. How's he taking off the board? So now we put ourselves into a 4v3 situation. Still annoyed with that Maestro Cam that is just feeding tons and tons of intel. Now it's going to be not Edward to find Barcode off the boards. He takes his head down, putting us into an equalized man count. 30 seconds left on the clock. It starts to tick down, and it is going to be Deception. Oh, the siege timing does get hit from the back as the attic starts to happen.
Oh, is she gonna survive it?
Nothing to say about it. Not gonna get that plant down. Triple kill for Not Edwards. Now we find ourselves into a 1v2 scenario. It is gonna be Oryx on the rotate. He's taking the scenic route. Gonna try to rely on that intel to shoot through the floor.
No, they pinged the wrong location. They moved. They were not in the default spot. Exactly what this team needed to do. They shifted over, got the plant down. For sure that Saw was expecting exactly where that diffuser was going to be in the default. So now they've got it on the other side of the wall. He's in games. Figure holding on to that angle. Oh. Not Edward's going to get it, though.
Yep. Gonna find the kill there. Goes for the peek, takes the swing, and that's a good night. And Attacker's gonna find themselves another round. This is, in fact, the exact opposite of what we watched on the last match.
Yeah, the attacker dominance on the map that you're comfortable with. F6 putting on a clinic right now on how to attack and how to manage the defense here on Oregon. So ASAKURA is going to need to find a way to adapt, change up their playstyle a bit. You talked about putting some assets in place to try to slow this team down. So one of the things we're going to see right off the bat, Haozai and Saw going to flip on operators. We're going to see him play the Oryx. Saw going to be on the Fenrir instead. So that's definitely going to hopefully slow down the attacking team a little bit. But maybe keep Saw, who was an absolute gunner for sure, on site potentially. Or at least more of his utility that's active on site that can help slow this F6 team down. So it's a good adaptation. We'll see whether or not they can convert that change into a round win.
5 seconds to go. Absolutely. It is the same strategy being utilized on map 1, but just on the opposite side of the board.
Moving out to locate a bomb and
getting
defuse it.
themselves in place in the first minute of gameplay, and then just again the communication being on point. All of a sudden, it's a 1, 2, 3 collapse on site, and you're watching the body count just rise as the defense just sits. Figure you're going to take a little bit of damage on that initial not enough to really cause any harm or problems. Highlight pick here, Whiskey. Come out. I think we're talking intel, opportunity. That is one gadget that definitely provides both of those, right? It's lethality, which is going to dislodge attackers from pivotal plant spots, and then it's going to be the sound cue, and it's going to be heard all the way across the map. So a couple of key pieces of intel with the highlight pick of Thorn. I imagine that we're going to see Deception quite crazy.
Yeah, I mean, sitting at that 5-3 to start with, and you've got 2 members of his team so far that have not been able to find a kill. Not everybody a fragging operator or an entry or, you know, operator that holds that position, but really love to see them start trading out a few more kills here, seeing as how we're on round 4 at this point. Not Edward on the other side, though, just the absolute frag leader, 8-0.
These can't be killed. Now that's going to be Moxie taking off the board, still not going to be able to find a kill. And you said it, you gave him his first death. Not Edward, all the guns.
Damn it.
Count gets equalized here.
I'm sorry, my friend.
There's that Thorn, giving him the cue that he's inside now. It's going to be intel all the way back. He's going to start to come out and slow push up. It's going to be Deception taking a bunch of damage, but going to find the kill on the Will. Figure to find a kill on Barcode. Deception find another on Figure. Now put this into a 2v2, but Deception to lose his life. Now shots onto White, holding the angle. It's the plant going down again in this 2v1 scenario. They've got the intel. Bees go out. Unfortunate that it was not a bullet. But now the cross is going to be set and the pings are going out.
Oryx left alive at the end again, and okay, they've got it down in the default in B. Got to plead holding the angle, exactly what they needed, but the Bees and the pings doing their job. They knew which way he was going to push. He was obviously holding the angle already, but no need to try and push around to the other side. Plus, Claymore on top of the kit. Great play there by F6 again, taking 2 in a row on both of the sites that they wanted to play. Going to see the ASAKURA team move back downstairs to Laundry, see whether or not they're going to take a third shot at it here on the first half of this map.
Man, I mean, I get it. It's a standard map pick, right? It's go down to the bunker wars, but you've lost it twice. You did have some success up top. Maybe we're going to carry that momentum through, but come on, let's see a meeting site. This is a site you've prepped for. It's the Tersh, right? You're ready to play this. Give it the credit where the credit's due. This is a good map fight. Levels of holding. Not going to be the case for this round, but potentially going to have to be for the next. We head down to Bunker Wars, and they're going to bring us that
attackers have discovered the location
slow
of the bomb.
them down. Trying to be pace setters here, and I think that's going to be one of the win conditions.
5 seconds left before insertion.
You talked about objective-based gameplay during Chalet as well, and so far F6 has had the kit down at least twice, or I think 3 times so far in this map. So ASAKURA definitely needs to watch out for that, because playing off, right, having the Oryx roaming, even if he doesn't die, needing to try and retake after the kit is down is not working out for them. So I think that's the change I'd love to see them make, because even though they changed up who was playing which, it was still Oryx off-site that needed to run back and try and defend and get that defuse later. So it wasn't enough of an adaptation yet to make it, you know, push the winning round in their favor.
Yep, that's going to be not Edward to find another kill. Pat his KD a little bit more at that 9-1 situation. Ripping. Barcode down. Barcode, of course, is utility already in place. So, yes, it's body down, but it's not necessarily a loss. Have that active util. You need to keep throwing around a couple of shots towards not Edward. Swapping! Not amount to anything, however.
Yeah, just try and distract the defense to see whether or not somebody else was going to quick peek on the way back, hoping that his 9-1 gunning skills were going to be enough to get a win there. So Deplete trying to drone out here. They've got the location, see whether or not anybody's upstairs. That hatch is open. Who's upstairs playing down? That saw that's upstairs. So they know the hatch is open, likely that one of these defenders is going to be up there watching, going to see whether or not they're going to use it to their advantage, or they're going to go site direct and push down. Maybe catch him off site. They're going to be playing down a man on the defense.
Yep, they're going to be playing man down a man on the attack
Attackers
too.
have
As not
recovered their
Edward gets
defuse.
taken down, it's going to be Saw the next to follow, and how's the offense? So does put. Ooh. Jeez, Fig's gonna find that kill onto Deception, and it's gonna be an easy cleanup as the attacker's gonna find another round. It's like the exact role swap has happened, right? All of a sudden, they look like they were the same. They look like they're the same team on attack on their map pick.
It is interesting.
The drones, yeah, the drones, the setup, the communication, the refrags, and now the scoreline.
Yeah, crazy to see it. We saw it at least F6 get some early success there on Chalet, but for sure ASAKURA definitely dominated that
Attackers
map.
need to
But
locate and
going
defuse
down
as many bombs as they
5-0
can.
to start, that's a tough place to come back from. And I know we talked about Figure just briefly, but he was the one that had that single map kill record. And we've seen the
Bomb
screenshots
located
to
by
prove it as
attackers.
well. 32. So he's coming alive here, and you're going to combine not Edward and Figure together. This is proving to be a very dangerous combo. So whether or not it's a combination of the attacking strats that F6 feels very comfortable on Oregon with, or whether or not those guys just needed the best of 3 to get warmed up and get themselves in a groove. Whichever side it is, they've definitely made it work
5
for them.
seconds
So
remaining.
unless ASAKURA can pull out a miracle, we're absolutely going to be seeing Clubhouse today.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, especially, you're right, at that 5-0, that makes it beyond the standard, and that puts it in a real tough spot. And they're going to need to find one, going into their half, you're absolutely right. So they're going to try to do it in the bunker. They're going to bring along the same operators that they brought before. We've got the smoke in that area to now. But already you're going to see Not Edwards getting in, making a push into kitchen, claiming a ton of real estate very quickly. It's going to allow his team to start pushing in. Would have liked to see maybe a cap can come out, something that's going to maybe divert attention
Barricading
maybe a
the
little bit
doors!
on the roam game, but we'll see.
Perimeter defense is active.
Knock, knock.
Yeah, Capcan, I agree, bringing out more of the traps, something to try and slow the attacking team down, maybe be a bit of distraction. You know, they tried playing the Thorn. They did play the Frost on Chalet. Oregon, we talked about one of the reasons she's not played as much is because of some of the entries are a little bit more difficult to take advantage of the Frost mats, but okay, I mean, you can win a couple 1v1s gunfight as well to try and push yourself up, and that's exactly what we're seeing there. So great start, although we have seen F6 go down in the initial kill, in the initial engagement, and still win the round. So it's not a safe place yet for ASAKURA to be.
That's right, but has it been Not Edwards as the first kill, right? That is a huge take. Only his 3rd death for the round, and that's going to be the Candela starting to come out and blind everybody. Onto the long angle, waiting for that peak, starts to come in. Kane's a little bit more real estate and going to find a kill off the back of it. Towards that freezer area. Looking for a second.
Oh, no!
Unfortunate.
Oh, Whiff City there. That's, yeah, you called it out. Unfortunately, he looked like he was going to get a double, but instead gets a death sentence.
Yep. We're going to go for the revive here. Try to get the back up because currently it's in a 4v scenario. Distraction here, but that distraction going to turn to devastation as how triple kill on the round. Answer back. Well, going to find it in the retaliation kill. Puts us in. Not going to be able to get them up, so still technically find themselves in a 3v. He's going to go for it, but unfortunate timing. He's swinging it at her right as he does it.
No, I mean, just perfect timing. Waited. He was trying to use the down as bait to try and pull the Womai out of that location, but great shot, taking a little bit of health away with the impact. And since he had started the animation, he couldn't hop out of the animation quick enough to be able to try and take it. So Womai doesn't even bother ADSing, able to hip fire and win that engagement. So finally, we see the first. So it was not a perfect half there for F6, but they are going on to defense on Oregon, which that whole first half aside, I would have said is definitely a more secure place to be. So as long as F6 can keep up the momentum, all they need is 2 more rounds to send this one home.
Yep, and to do so, we're headed. headed down to the bunker wars to start us out. It is switched up gears. We're going to see the op swap. And so let's talk about the defense. What are they bringing to the table? What's the strat? Already we can tell you got a couple of the standards, right? Cade for the wall and the hatches. Fenrir to slow down that push on those critical push points. Valkyrie for that intel. Malusi part of that slowdown gang. But
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and
seeing
defuse it.
consistently, constantly is that each member is just getting bits and pieces taken off of it, right? These little engagements and these one-on-ones is really just allowing little bits of damage, especially like that impact there at the end. So bring the dock to the table, right? Bring the dock, get yourself, whether you're 1, 5, or 99, he will stim you full health back into tip-top fighting shape. I like this call. I like this adaptation on the defensive side.
Yeah, he needs to be in a place where he can help support the defense, though, or at least keep himself alive, right? If you're not going to play on site and try and keep the rest of your team alive, play in one of those more dangerous positions. Looked like that's where he was heading, was Big Tower, to try and hold that attic position, either from the not going to be able to keep Valkyrie alive, but try and hold on that top hatch and use the stims hopefully to keep himself alive. So I hope that's what this defensive team is trying to pull off, but never mind. He goes down as well. The ASAKURA team looking pretty good on attack here to start on their first.
Yep, and that's where they had a bunch of success in the previous map, right? So there's going to be another shot, equalize the body count, put us into 3. Oh, start to push forward, the siege timing, saving the life. Now it's going to be not around. Going to find Cade, goes down.
Attackers have located a
Come
bomb.
up on that kill, and now can start to see it rotate back down into the freezer area, but the plant's going down. Gridlock. Going to be able to finish this plant off. Pros don't fake, Whiskey.
Got some of that flank watch in control there. You talked about having this reinforcement up as an advantage for the defense. So F6 taking the alternative strategy, keeping it reinforced, and we saw the attacking team exploit that. So interesting, she was in a good position for it, and now the defense is trying to get themselves out of freezer. Not going to be able to do it. Saw going to finish that one off.
That's going to be another attack round. What are we watching? It's all attack. I'm here for it. What a switch up on Organ.
Yeah, you talk about, well, both of us mentioned early on there in Chalet that we're talking about the defensive meta in Siege, and teams that are winning are ones that are able to put together very good attacks. And you're not kidding. We've seen it both on Chalet and Oregon. For those of you that are just joining us, we're getting an opportunity to cast the ACGL. That's the African Gaming League, and invited the SiegeDoubleShot to be a part of the casting team here to try and raise awareness. So one of the things that we were trying to understand going into this match is how is this region of the world play Siege a little bit differently than what we experience in the NA and EU scene that we're much more familiar with. And so far, attack heavy. And I know you said it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So run it back. It's been the pattern we've seen, right? You lose once to the attack, you run it back, and that's of course where the big test is going to be. Can the adaptation come through for F6 and they find their round to put them on a match point scenario? Well, look at this look at this attack that we got set up for the bunker wars. It's got all the makings of a rush plant, Blitz, Lion, Finka, Ash, and Grim on the board. So all of your intel, all of your quick push, your health to back it up, they're lining up towards the bunker area, Whiskey. Get ready, because it's quick plant time. It sends it in as Blitz is going to see that the elbow is probably locked off, so that's going to slow down. He's going to get onto the pillar. He'll try to take that shot, but Blitz going to lose his life, the first to go down in the onslaught here, and that's going to put an immediate stop onto this quick plant. They did make it into bunker, but the C4 is going to say hello. Flame 1 for sure. That's going to be Moxie off the board. Now puts us into a 5v3 situation. Quick plant completely derailed as the elbow was not
swapping mag
reinforced.
Yeah, that's right. The defense, I don't know whether or not they sensed something, what exactly was happening, but yeah, unfortunate. We saw reinforced off, Blitz completely denied, and then the drop shot on Pillar, well played by Figure to be able to take him down and go for the feet. That was just well played on the defense's side there. I love the try that we saw the ASAKURA team take, but now they're in a tough position. It's a 2v5. You still got Saw alive, though, and we have seen him pull off some miracles, so it's not over yet.
That's the truth. Gotta be perfect to do it. They get Doc to go down. Take him off the board, and that's going to be a start. A climb to equalize this body count. They've got plenty of time, and they've taken a ton of real estate to do so. You can start to see it. B's going to take Harry Potter down. Not the bees. He's going to take Harry Potter down as the bees are surrounding him. Quick fire through that chassis as they're watching on B. They could get themselves potentially in for a plant situation.
Yeah, they have absolutely taken advantage of some of the real estate that F6 has allowed them to get at this point. And he's going to get a... No way. And that's going to be a triple there with Fenrir down. So it is all down to deplete. The diffuser is going down. And he's got to deal with Saw, who is going to get a quad on the map. We talked about the fact that he was still alive, and do not count them out because he absolutely pulled it off there.
That was insane! Absolutely disgusting shots. Takes the shot onto the Fenrir, immediately pre-fires towards the freezer to catch the kill. What a sweet double. Somebody clip that. That was beautiful.
I mean, overall, the quad on the round just finished it off with the double at the end, but the double ahead of that is what enabled the plant to go down, and just incredible.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was saying. That was the absolute deletion.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Blown away that F6 did not close that one out. So they started off this map on attack very confident. So, I don't know, maybe that's it. They started off on defense on Chalet and struggled. Now struggling a bit here. They just didn't have enough time to get momentum going on Chalet on attack. Maybe they're struggling from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, potentially here. Well, if they are, they brought a great lineup to try and stop this 2F location. I mean, Maestro, Goyo, a bunch of area denial. We're bringing out a couple of different trap operators in the Malusi and the Legion. A zombie to really solidify that trench warfare. Somebody we haven't seen too often yet this evening is the Azami. So I'm gonna really try to settle in and oh, what did you do? Legion.
Oh, some siege timing there. Depletes. Lost all of his health as he ran across the open window, or the window as they were trying to open it. That is some unfortunate siege timing. Gonna give a quick advantage to the ASAKURA team.
Man, what a shot. He's gonna watch that VOD back later and really be upset with that one. Okay, it's gonna lead the attack team in now to a body balance shift into their favor.
I won't make this easy.
And they've got a pretty standard setup, right?
Bomb located by attackers.
Bedroom area. Now they have to first by Goyos. Open it up. I can't
Attackers
get
have dropped the bomb.
those start to ring out.
Attackers have recovered their
A little
diffuser.
bit of distraction. Maybe try to catch another member sleeping. There's another Goyo charge to slow him down again and again.
Figure really took a lot of risks there, running across two open windows to try and get back to the B site. Fish going to finish off one of the attackers at the top of white, though. Good call to try and push themselves back up in the man count. So now 3v4. Again, you still have Saw alive, keeping a Barcode and Moxie along with him. So even though Deception is down, still plenty of firepower. Got to find a way to hopefully get rid of some of these Maestro cams, because gonna deny the plant when they get to that point.
Yep, they are gonna take the member out of.
Watch for the blast!
There it is. Ash Charge used to take down the Maestro cam. Now they've got some of this utility cleared off, but still got to watch out for Figure, and it is all down to Saw. Can you pull off the miracle? 2 rounds in a row. Not going to happen. Figure going to win that engagement.
All right, a zombie to clean it up. That takes us to a very scary position if you're on the side of Asakura. It's a match point scenario for F6. Now we got to see the attack team be perfect for 3 rounds in a row to take it back down to the bunker area.
Oh
Ooh-wee,
man,
whiskey.
Attackers
Yeah.
need to locate and defuse bombs.
it's that one came down to the wire at the end, and after what we saw do, no pun intended, downstairs in the basement, I was definitely a little worried for this F6 team, but figure definitely a force to be reckoned with as well, sitting at 9-5-3, contributing across the map. So now gonna play on the dock, try and keep himself alive again. The last time we saw him when they were playing the basement site, playing upstairs in that attic on the hatch. So this guy could take that same heavy roam game, right? Are we going to see them play this this spread out defense here? They've only got to win one, got to be perfect, and I do not think they want to see Asakura get any momentum going, try and build it up, because we've already seen Asakura win map 1. Chalet 7-2, so they've got the map advantage right now. If they can figure out a way to win on Oregon, this best of 3 is done. F6 has got to win to push us to that map 3 clubhouse, which I think for sure, if you're an F6 fan, that's what you want to see. If you're a fan of Siege, here in the African Gaming League, that's what you want to see.
Yep, that's what I want to see. On the attacking side, we brought a little bit to start to deal with some of those extension utilities. We've seen those Valve cams, those Fenrir gadgets, those Malusi Banshees. And so we're going to see the IQ on the board adding to that intel and opportunity meta that we live in. So going to suss out where the heck all of those cams are at, allow teammates to start reclaiming some of that territory, even though it's more of a shadow hold. That is going to be figured to find Saw off the board. His head will be
No! That is devastating for this Asakura team. They had been relying, he had been the last man alive on several of these rounds. Yeah, and the chat comes out. It's going to be a tough one here for this team. So not going to count them out yet. Still got 1:44 left in this round. Plenty of time for them to work on developing how they want to push this attacking team. And it is basement. They know how to play it.
A stim, bring her back up to fighting shape, as now all members of the defense are back up to that full health scenario. Doc being pivotal in the health deployment there. And you start to see some of these gridlocks coming out, stopping some of that flank potential, giving a little bit of presence on the back stairs, giving a little bit of presence on the freezer stairs. Start to try to divide the forces up, right? Split the forces so you're taking smaller battles in your.
Step back!
All right, the push down and stairs, try and figure out where all this utility is at. They still have got the Valkyrie trying to hold down. Got the IQ, so Deception is going to be able to find all of these pieces of utility. Don't even need the drones to ping it out, but the question is, can they get themselves as the attackers in position to try and clear some of it before they get ready to make the execute? But they've got 30 seconds left, and I'm not feeling like they've got enough of the pieces in place, though, to make this happen. Figure takes down another. It's a 2v5, my friend. It's almost done.
Out into a 4v1, all resting on the shoulders of Habana. It's quick peeking, it's a low health scenario, and it's only 15 seconds on the board. So just like in the last map, we're going to start to think that it might start falling apart for Habana, but she finds one, finds a second, but it's going to be Will to clean it up. F6 going to take map number 2, which means we are going to the decider, the devious decider, and what a map to go to for it. It's Clubhouse, it's the great equalizer. It can be attacker sided, it can be defender sided, but either way, it's going to be decided when we come back. Heyo.
Oh, my friend. And I just want to say one more time, a big shout out and thank you to the African Gaming League for inviting us to try and help spread awareness of the teams and the players that are part of this region. Happy to be able to share that with you all here in the NA and EU scene. So thanks for the follows and subs. We've got map 3 coming up.
That's right, folks. Sit back, relax. When we come back, we're going to bring in the last map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. If you're just joining us, well, welcome. We appreciate you hanging out. We know there's a lot of Siege that you could be watching, so we appreciate you spending your hard-earned time here with us. We're getting back into the game. We are still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter and my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What you say, Mr. Whiskey?
Incredible game we've seen so far between two teams that going into this had very little knowledge of. Again, getting a chance to see the African Gaming League R6 trying to bring some awareness to the region and the players. So these are two new teams to the Siege Double Shot. Never had a chance to see them previously. So love getting to feel out how they're playing, and so far it has been very attacker-sided as we've rolled through both of the previous maps. We saw ASAKURA take Chalet 7-2, and F6 answer back 7-3, and a lot of attacking wins. 5 attacking wins on the F6 side on their first half just to start off, so I'm going to see how Clubhouse goes. This one is the decider, so each of the teams won their map pick and decisively, right? 7-2, 7-3, very decisive wins for both. So I'm really curious to see how this one's going to play out, and don't have a lot of preconceived notions other than both of these teams seem to be very good on the attack. So I think that's going to make Clubhouse fun.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. So
Attackers have located a bomb.
has the first site here, and already I like what I'm
10
seeing
seconds
on the side
left
of
before
F6.
insertion.
Also being brought out. I'm gonna close off.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Really start to funnel those attackers in. I think this is a good
Attackers'
defensive
objective is
setup.
to defuse
I
the
like to
bomb.
sometimes see the zombie being brought out, but not necessary, not vital. Have a Stratoforce worked out to me this time. It'll be the same just about across the board with the addition of the Fender getting taken down now.
All right. Fish playing downstairs, trying to hold on. I was going to say maybe holding on to that main breach, but let's see whether or not anyone's going to try and push down and clear some of that out from upstairs. But it is going to be Buck trying to clear some of this 2F. So seeing the ASAKURA team play more of a whole top-down clear, make sure Clubhouse completely clear before pushing downstairs and setting themselves up for an execute in the basement.
That's right, and they are having to spend the time because there's utility dedicated to the top of C4 to come out, but it was a blind shot and doesn't amount to anything. No joy on that one. But because they've set all of this extension util upstairs, the mute jammers, they did the barricades, that it's like somebody's playing up there. You have to take the time. You have to suss it out. Otherwise, if you're wrong, if you didn't get it all droned, or if you didn't send somebody in physically to do it and you're wrong and there is somebody up there, that flank is going to be absolutely devastating. We've seen it on Clubhouse too many times.
As a matter of fact, we saw it last night on the grand final for the Outlast Classic Series. Actually, when they were playing Clubhouse, we saw a Logi kill from the defense through the hatch downstairs to the basement, and unbelievable that you can get such a great angle down there from playing in Logi. But I mean, it's a great point. It's exactly what you talked about. But right now, seeing the ASAKURA team getting themselves set up and ready, it looked like they had 4 players sitting and holding the kitchen area, and not Edward. Just disrupting that whole process there with the impacts, trying to keep that kitchen hatch closed, and so far successful.
Yep, Saw gonna be there as the entry is gonna find his life forfeit. Body bounce. A little bit of an idea that somebody's down below, and then by somebody, I mean down those main stairs. So gonna start seeing long shot now waiting. It's got to be
15 seconds to go. Attackers drop the
main stair area, but now just like that, it's all falling apart. And with 7 seconds left, Bart goes into
5 seconds left.
the attack in the bin, and he's gonna get shot in the back.
Yeah, they had the players down at the bottom of the main stairs. They had one that had dropped hatch and just appeared to be uncoordinated in the push-in, right? Maybe using the Flores. I know they were running out of time, but maybe using the Flores to try and push some of that, some of those players out of position, so that way they could actually get through the double at the bottom of the stairs and help support the player that had dropped hatch. But with both peeking the double, lost their lives, and then it was a
Attackers
quick
need to
flank
locate
from
and
the
defuse
other
bombs.
defender to be able to clear out the last attacker left. F6 is going to take their first defensive round, so talked about in the setup about expecting some crazy attacking, and we saw a little bit of it,
Camera feed
but
up and
F6 able to handle that cleanly downstairs in the basement of Clubhouse.
It's crazy. They're gonna go to cache CCTV next instead, so still issuing nods towards the Siege tradition instead of how contemporary Siege has been played. We're gonna see cache CCTV set up here, and I love it. Right? We're gonna see the Azami who's gonna really start to build an empire with those key barriers in that
5
catwalk
seconds to
area,
insertion.
ensuring that nobody's gonna be able to take that garage or
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
We're gonna have to find a creative way to deal with her because there's a guy up there, so it's gonna be stopping those flashes and those grenades, things that you would typically see used to flush her out. No Capital, so not gonna bring the fire.
Yep, and you know the thing about it is, right, we're seeing this, we talked about it, the beginning of year 8 style of Siege being played here. In addition, we haven't really seen any shield play, right? We saw Blitz on one, what appeared to be quick, like a quick plant, quick attack setup in the basement of Oregon, but I mean, this is a great spot. We've seen teams manage the Monty really well here on this 2FCC site, but not going to take that play. So it's just interesting. It's like we're watching very much a year 8 kind of setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Airdrop and chase!
Find ourselves yet again into a 4v2. F6 finding themselves up in the body balance. And here we're gonna see Fish gonna try to take the swing. He's gonna find that piece.
Wow.
Really easily. Beautiful shot. Now puts it all into the shoulders of Barcode. All by his lonesome. Pops towards that upper catwalk area. Not gonna do anything. Does give away his location, and now it's gonna start to occur. He is gonna take a zombie down. He'll pad the KD.
You ready for the secret run out right here? Oh, took a couple shots, gave away the position, and Barcode ready for it. I thought we were gonna see. We expecting again F6 to be a little bit more aggressive on the defense with the spawn peaks to run out. Expecting them to try and throw bodies at him here. So far, but man, look, that BP cam on the back of the server wall, just watching the walk-in. He's gonna go for the defuse. He's still got a minute left, but man, this is a tough climb back.
Yeah, it sure is. Pop a couple of shots, but there it is. Just give themselves, yeah, like I said, it's basically that minute to talk, right? Give them a second to chat about it. Have to actually take their time out. I like the call. That's going to be round number 2 dusted, and it is going to go in the favor of F6. As the complete switch up from both of the maps, we recognized as the defense coming out on top here.
That just is wild, right? Definitely wild to see the way that this is changing up. But what it says to me, at least, as we talked about it as we were watching Oregon happen, was F6 seemed to be finding their way, playing together better, right? They needed that best of 3 in order to start feeling themselves, right? You talk about some of the pro teams, like TSM used to be that way. They could not win a best of 1, but you put them in a best of 3 and they were unstoppable. So maybe that's sort of the same case here, that F6, struggled on Chalet to get themselves going, started to find their footing on Oregon, and they're continuing that momentum as we roll into Clubhouse. They've got a good setup here. They've got a set of operators who feel very comfortable banning out Brava and Solus. And even though they don't have the Dokkaebi on the board, they don't have to worry about that because ASAKURA took her off. We haven't seen, like, Ying is available, not being played again. And it just feels like F6 is finding their footing and are comfortable with what is on the board available to them.
Yep, love the castle call here. Gonna double up on the site redefine, as both the architect and castle gonna be utilized here. Castles, windows, and then of course onto the gym door. Really try to make sure that this Cade could potentially do some tricking if but Fish gonna be all the way in garage, looking for that flank from the other side. And already gonna start to do a great job as he's tricked one, but they're gonna pull it off. Gonna try for it again.
Just holding and waiting. Gonna hold that jacuzzi wall, keep it closed. Oh, and look at this. They droned out Fish on the red stairs, and they've got 2 attackers playing upstairs, taking a lot of damage there from the Legion Goo. I was wondering if we were going to see Fish push back up, thinking that he had been droned out and down, but Buck and Saw still trying to look around, trying to figure out who is going to be in that position on those red stairs. Is he going to do it? Come back up. I'd love to see that flank happen.
Yeah, same. That's one of my favorite parts. The flank, a little flank steak. Okay, so minute 18 left on the board. Time starts to tick down.
Attackers have recovered their
Those trades come out. Ooh, almost got a TK. They do get 2 off the board. The thermite and the Thatcher. Now he's traded out onto the zombie. Now pushed into a 3-3 as Naper goes down. But they have officially started pushing into that cash CC area with still plenty of time left on the board. We do have the LMG of the Finka to deal that long-range devastation. It does take a Legion Goo, however, going to slow them down. And they've got intel. Just knows that somebody's laying there, so they're going to time this frame.
Yep. Deception, well played there. Great intel from the drone. Trying to make good use of their economy here. You got Kaid playing in the bathroom. So, you know they've got it where a couple of these pieces are. And did he go down to a goo?
Must have been.
Thought I heard that goo go off.
Think a boost to bring them back.
Jeez.
Legion Goos are everywhere. Really making effective use of that gadget. And now that it does the impact damage after 2.
It's like they hit 100% of the Legion Goos that were out. That was an incredible conversion rate on utility transferring damage to the attacking team, but it was not enough to slow them down. They're able to finally find their first attacking win here. Sort of what we were expecting coming into this match, a lot of attacking rounds. So they played that 2F gym bedroom really well, and F6 holding on to CC but losing Jim. So definitely interesting. Now, go back down to the basement.
That's right. It's the round rotate, my friend. And it kind of went, as you said. Now it's crazy that we live in a world where gym bedroom is the tertiary site. But I love it. I'm here for it, honestly. That's fun.
Well, we
switch up from the switch up.
Yeah, we've for sure seen basically 2 full seasons where gym bedroom was the favored site, and yeah, maybe a little bit of a switch back to CC. So it's fun getting to see a different region. So that's it. If you're just joining us, we are casting the African gaming league here. There are 6 league, and very happy to have them put their faith in us to try and get some more exposure to the African scene and the African players. So we appreciate them being a part of the Siege Double Shot here. So it is map 3 in this best of 3. We're tied up 1-1 so far. And F6 looked like they were on a bit of a momentum streak after cleaning up Oregon 7-3 and then winning the first 2 rounds here, but ASAKURA's not ready to lay down. Going to keep fighting here as they try and find a way to hold on and attack Clubhouse.
Yep. And so drones are going to start to come out. And you're seeing Clubhouse. There's so many places to get those drones in. The C4 is going to ring out, but it's not going to be far enough. It's backed up to get out of the doorway to get onto that aforementioned drone. But Clubhouse offers so many fun vantage points for the drones. You see them up in the up on the duck. What is it? the air conditioner. You see him up all over on the roof, just giving tons of eyesights all over the freaking map. He's going to be the first one to fall, potentially off the back of some of that intel. And that is ASAKURA doing a really good job of just running everything.
Yeah, we've talked about how some of the teams like Padip in the chat, plenty of places to hide those drones in that bar stage area in addition to garage, so plenty of good spots to keep and continue getting that intel. Solus being banned out means the defense does not have the option to try and find any of those drones. So, and with her big change coming, not being able to use her ability during the prep phase, I think is going to bring back more of that like drone parkour that we were seeing a lot of. I think that died down a little bit with the rise of Solus, so I think that's going to be something we'll see more of in the comp scene going forward after that Solus change happens.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. All right, final minute starting to conclude. So we're going to watch for the execute, but they're in a couple of pivotal positions here for the defense. Even though they're a man down, they're in a good setup for this last 37 seconds. 1 or 2, and the numbers are theirs. Onto this dirt area. Putting himself up into a power position on top of the boxes, and Thatcher going to be the first one taken down by Cade. Exception to find one onto not Edwards. So now we've put ourselves into a 4v3 with 17 seconds left.
Seconds remaining.
Attackers now. 3v2 trade.
Attackers recover the diffuser.
Answer back on figure now into
5
a 3v1.
seconds to go.
Gotta get the plan down. 3 seconds left. Shots. Hey, are they getting it? Yeah, there it is.
Saw gonna be the one to finish it off. And this round went exactly the way that we were talking about on the first round, right? Round 1, we saw F6 win the basement site on the back of holding a good long angles to the bottom, the bottom of the main stairs, that double. They had the Malusi trap in place on this round, but both of the attackers were able to make that push in, join up with the other attacker who had already dropped the hatch, gain control of Church, and then with Saw coming in and with the LMG able to clean up the rest of the attackers. So that went exactly the way they wanted it to go. So we have seen now the basement go both ways. And it's that battle that happened at the bottom of the stairs that didn't happen this time. I think that really enabled the ASAKURA team to win that. So good play, good setup there from them. And now we're tied up 2-2. It's 2 attacking wins in a row. So now we're going to see whether F6 can regain some of that momentum they had in rounds 1 and 2. As we're here on 5, or is this going to be the rise of the attack that we were expecting to see? The best they could do, though, is a 4-2 half. So plenty of opportunity for both of these teams to win at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy how lopsided those first 2 maps were, especially in the initial onslaught. Oh, no. That's tough. Spawn Peak going to find a section off the board, and that's going to be body balance shifted in favor of the defense. Of the defense. They're going to not be pressed, and they're going to immediately go for the ball.
That's what we were expecting to see. We were expecting to see the this F6 team spawn peak, play aggressively. That's exactly what they did do. And well-timed, well-played. The combination of the Kaid and the Tubarão able to hold off on getting that main wall. And that looked like that was both of the thermite charges down.
That would be tough.
Looks like they could do it. Kaid does not have... Oh, he does have one more. He needs to get over there and trick the wall, but he's not going to.
We're just going to keep holding on to the Tubarão. Yeah, one of the thermites off. That's going to be Finka that lose their life. So now gets put down into a 3v5, minute 45 left on the clock. It's starting to feel a bit... the attack team got put on the back foot here. They did bring the fuse out, so going to be able to get rid of a lot of that util. It'd be tough for them to mount to any sort of kill inside of the Jesus site. Golly, man, couldn't get the word out. But we've seen it happen before. So I still like the fuse call. Just get left alive there. Situation. Deplete off the board. Getting a little bit closer in that score line. Take a different angle here. A new avenue.
Attackers bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Hey, that peeks out of the window and gets taken down. Fuse quickly to follow, and that's going to be a defender win for F6.
Yep, and we are going to roll into a tech pause as well. One of the things that we talked about was the fact that the two-brow being played and seeing, a lot of still continuing to see FPS bugs. That's exactly what happened. We're going to see a couple players try and go through, restart their PCs to end that out. So we're going to take a quick break as that tech pause rolls through and those players restart their games.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Tech pause done. Data
Defenders
goodbye.
protect the bombs from
Sayonara.
being
See you
defused by
later.
attackers.
And we can get back into the round. If you're just joining us, this is map number 3. Each team having taken their map in this best of 3 takes us to the great equalizer that is Clubhouse. And now we find ourselves on the last round of the first half of the last map. And it is going to be kind of sitting in that standard location. F6 looking to put themselves on that 4 split. ASAKURA trying to put themselves in the 5, which is definitely going to help them out on the back end, right? They
10
are
seconds to go.
quota on the attack side. They bring along that same defensive strat.
5 seconds
All
remaining.
good. All gravy, baby.
Yeah, that's right. So the last time we saw Gym Bedroom, we saw ASAKURA take that one on attack. So F6 looking to change things up enough this round to try and hold on and win it. So it's been a little bit of a back and forth, and interesting that we saw F6 win that CCTV both times. So clearly they're better. Their better site, which is interesting in the current meta of NA Siege. So it's changing up, and I like it.
Yep, I like it a lot too. So now we get that wall open with relative ease. Cade gonna rotate himself back into sight. Live to die another day or start taking another couple of peeks. Put himself into the bathroom as those windows start to get opened up, right? Open up those sight lines. Just clip it inside of sight, which is the reason to bring that castle along. Not only does it make them expend that util, but it keeps your back blocked for a little bit longer. Ooh!
Oh, Edward. Nice swing there to cover the highway window in the bedroom. That was just well played on his part. So the attacker's going to lose one early, lose that opening pick. Housie is down, but Saw still alive, Deception's still there. Moxie the only one that, he's definitely playing that support role again, but need to find a way to try and maybe get active here. We're on round 6, hasn't been able to find a supporting kill yet, so going to see whether or not that is going to be enough. Try and swing it in their favor, but Deception, huge loss of HP. That's tough, and then a trade coming out with Deplete. Moxie not going to get a chance to win one.
Yeah, the trade onto the aforementioned Moxie that you were just talking about. Unfortunate, putting him in that 0-6 position. You don't want to be the guy on the team with the donut, even though KD doesn't mean, a ton in this game. Still doesn't feel good. Can start to chalk the menu a little bit, start to develop that pattern. And just like that, Marco is going to be the last 5.
Swapping mags!
A quarter of his HP in this 1v3. They have 42 seconds left, so time for him to stall it out and potentially talk to the team about it. Holding on.
No, I was.
And he's going to get fried.
I was going to say the way that he was playing, swinging across that bedroom window aggressively, trying to swing and peek, taking on the castle, just did not seem like take some time and think about it was in his MO. So pretty much certain he was going to be jumping in through that window, and that's exactly what we saw happen. So F6 going to take 4 on attack. So that's the first time we saw, or 4 on defense. That's the first time we saw more defensive wins than attacking wins so far this evening.
And defuse as many bombs as they
No
can.
kidding. So complete switch up from map 1 and map 2. We're gonna see the defense take over. That would actually be the case on this side too. F6 gonna bring together an attack strat that's got something to prove here. So we're gonna head, down to the basement. And we see the mirror in play. A couple of standard operators bring out that area denial of the smoke. Really stop that late round when they drop in from the hatch or when they're trying to push down that main staircase. And then a
10
zombie,
seconds
of
to
course,
insertion.
to really build in that trench
5 seconds
warfare
remaining.
in that area.
Swapping mags.
Yep, and I think they're definitely going to need it. I was going to say, they were showing Maverick on the attacking side, but switched off and leave Maverick on the bench and bring out the Hibana and the Thatcher again, along with the Buck. He's got 2 can openers, so potentially that's the entry into dirt. Going to be a little bit louder, and Saw setting up and ready for it.
right, so let them get started. Let them start to cook. Hibana Hatch Queen gonna be over there to open that. How many do we have? Just two sets of impacts on the board, so enough to deny a few codes, but not indefinitely. Right, they're eventually gonna be able to get that hatch open.
Bomb located by attackers.
Nice process.
Yeah.
We're holding on to the Aussie.
Yeah, assuming, and I would guess that that it's a well-practiced Hibana, so I think it's likely they're going to able to get that kitchen hatch open. And, ooh, C4 out, and this has definitely made a lot easier with the new guidelines that that Ubisoft introduced for the throwable gadgets. So makes tossing that C4 over the top of one of those walls a lot easier. So it's definitely given the defenders a bit of an advantage, I think.
Yeah,
That could be a part of why we've seen such a rise in the C4 kills.
So we're going to see the Bucks start to tear the floor up, start to open up that verticality, put some pressure on from above, and that's, of course, where we see some of those early kills start to come from, as the players try to rotate themselves out of sight and use those aforementioned C4s, but it's going to be the mirror inside the church wall to make that call.
Yeah, it's interesting that, so they chose to go with the mirrors, holding down the blue and generator area, waiting for this drop. Looked like the attackers were maybe getting themselves set up for it, or the push down those secret stairs. But from the from this Mira perspective, she's going to hold on and leave that church wall fully closed off. And you can see how many shotgun shells Buck needed to try and open up. He used 100% of his skeleton key. He's got none left. Which kind of surprising, but what basically it looked like was they had the same setup as if Ram had been on the board, and she could have done that with just 2 of her drones. So we'll see whether or not that was a good call. I think teams that are starting to incorporate Ram into their kitchen, into their basement attacks, definitely seem to do pretty well.
It's going to be about quick to follow, but the plans start to go down, and before the trade comes out, is Fish going to get it? Deception saw. How's he going to take them
wow.
off? Now all left on the shoulders of Thatcher, who's going to get dealt with immediately, and that is going to do it. But they don't know the button down, so they're going to take their time a little bit extra before they come in, and that's going to be diffused and one for the defense.
Yep, it was a good hold from the defense there in the basement. Had themselves set up exactly the way they need it. The execute happened, I think, a little bit more haphazardly than F6 would have liked. They were able to get the defuse down, not exactly in that default spot, but back behind the rack, but it still wasn't enough cover in order to stop the Azami, who had the advantage of all the Kibas coming out of that dirt tunnel to be able to try and put some pressure on him. So even though we talked a little bit about the ASAKURA setup that was maybe not some of the standard with the church wall combination holding that generator area, converted that into a round win though. So F6 still has got an option here. They can make it work, and also ASAKURA can, right? I think said in the chat earlier that predictions out, but we've got no idea how this one's going to roll. So our first opportunity to see these teams in this league in action, and it has definitely not disappointed. So big shout out to the ACGL and Kixie for bringing us in and getting an opportunity to show you this league and these players. All right, so we roll into the start of round 8, 4-3, much closer than any of the previous 2 maps. If you're just joining us, that was Chalet 7-2 and Oregon 7-3, split between these 2 teams. So definitely much more evenly matched here on Clubhouse. Definitely deeper in the map pool, so their last one available. Now, bringing out the Clash on the part of ASAKURA, that we've seen Clash be very successful. We talked about the fact that we had not really seen any shields being played so far in this matchup aside from Blitz 1 round. Now the Clash makes an appearance, and let's see whether or not Moshi is able to find more than one. He did find his first, so didn't caster curse him completely. He's able to find one.
The caster curse, folks, it's real and it's prevalent and it's present. So you said it, Clash on the board. I love it. I love the shield play, and to use that instead of the Wamai holding red. Oh, that's fun. That's delicious, and it's gonna do a great job at holding them off. It's already left in the game here. So on the board for the defense or for the attack team, they did bring a couple of good offense to deal with that Clash. Callie is gonna start getting down some shots onto red. Rip gonna take it. He is gonna go down. Unfortunately, Legion to get ripped off the board. Callie using the sniper inside the building. They are gonna get ripped back up.
And gonna down the Clash on top of it. Oh yeah, great play there. Oh, but then the nade comes out and Fish going to go down. Oops, that's a big problem there. Was that because of a Maya magnet?
Oh man, I sure hope so. That would make it a lot better.
Speaking of Omai, he's gonna dodge the literal bullets there and save his life, keep himself alive, playing close to those windows. So Deception playing back in Logi, trying to hold on, but it's a lot less health. I was gonna say a lot less health on the board for the ASAKURA side, but they just gained an advantage. Now 3v2, 2v2 though, as Figure going crazy on the Cali, gonna get a triple.
No way, and now just down into this 1v1 Kenshi quad piece off the Cali being used inside the building. 15 seconds left, no diffuser in hand, so we
did she see? I thought she saw. Is she gonna be able to pick up the diffuser? Oh, I thought she saw Frost through that hole into Logi. I'm not sure if that was just the outline we saw, but I thought she was just barely on the other side of the shelf. But oh, that's unfortunate. So close, Callie with the triple kill, almost making it a 4K to win the round. We are tied up. Again, the closest map we've seen between these two teams, neither wanting to let up at all. And it's crazy how one-sided each of the previous two maps were to get us to this point. If you're just joining us, this is a completely different story than what we saw on either Chalet or Oregon.
And with the scoreline going 2-2-2-2 all the way across, we're going to attack the next two victories in a row. That would put him on a match point scenario. But this map definitely looks like the first that could potentially see a bit of that OT. This kind of be one of the tester rounds here. So on the defense, we are going to see that cache CCTV set up, and we're going to lean into that Maestro play. You know, we might have seen more Oryx play tonight than we've ever seen. And we've seen him a lot lately. But maybe more than we have actually ever seen in any round. And I'm 5 seconds left predicted that with the rise of the alternative entry coming in. That objective is going to be a big part of that. He's been
I think you're right. I think, you know, even if you see Oryx played occasionally, or as a bit of a defensive opportunity to try and throw the attackers off, ASAKURA has been committed to playing the Oryx. Between Saw and Housey, they have definitely put a lot of rounds on Oryx here in this best of 3.
Okay, so gonna go for a bit of the two-pronged approach here, as both the Maverick and the Ace gonna be on the board. If he doesn't get his toesy shot from the top.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was a very dangerous way to try and get that thing open. The intel coming out though. Boba's going to try and take a few shots there, taking advantage of that wall being partially opened. Now they've got it open, so Edward and the Whale playing at the top here out on the plateau. So here's the question. Can they take advantage of this positioning? Figure going to get that opening pick, and that's the Oryx going down. Feels very good for this F6 team to start with.
Yep, it really does. Especially if they're in the history to be.
Yeah, playing behind the shield.
Yep. Not gonna feel any of that, however. Plays there, and that's a Legion Goo to go off, giving away the location of Figure and the Gridlock as they're pushing into this construction area. A little bit of a can opener to open up, start to take the rectifying inside.
Oh, he crouched. He put the can opener on, crouched. Not going to be able to impact trick it. They're going to try and take a shot, pushing into, just pushing right up into sight. And he's got a Legion Goo. They watched the other defender hop through the breach and head downstairs on that, like head out into the garage. So he was able to jump in, swing on the player that was playing close to that CC, to that cash door. Just great play there from Figure and the F6 squad. Made that one look easy. That seemed more dominant for sure.
Yeah, it did. Well, when it comes down to almost a 5v1, they did end up getting one off the board. But yeah, that's definitely a more dominant showing by the attacking team here. Okay,
Defenders,
so now
protect your
put
bombs
themselves
from being
one away
defused
from
by
that match
attackers.
point scenario. We're going to see them going back down to the basement. We're going to run it back with the tuber out to help aid the Cade. That was unintentional.
Hey, well played. We did see the Cade Tuber combo earlier, but I think the biggest thing that this means is we're probably going to get a tech pause after the round because of the Tuber FPS bug. But whether or not they're going to be able to use in conjunction in the same way, we definitely feel like we've seen Tuberau and Bandit play better together just because you can get the timing down much easier than you can with Kaid. But here we are in the basement. Going to try and be using it to block the hatches. So, you know, they may not go for the same tricking, but just use the Tuberau to try and hold off the setup for the execute a little bit longer.
Okay, a little bit of a switch up. We are going to see the Twitch on the board. Try to combat those mirrors that were quite devilish on the last time. Where did the mirrors get put the last time they played basement? Didn't you say church wall was all the way boarded up?
Yep, they use them to hold the blue and generator. Playing one inside of Arsenal and then one behind the generator. So.
A little bit more of that contemporary take on the mirror play. I'm here for it. So some can openers to not open anything up because Cade tricking underneath down in Moto.
Wow.
Beautiful play to hold on to that verticality.
Yep, and they're gonna impact trick. Wow, the impact did not take out the Tuberau. That must have been well played there. But the other thing that they've got an advantage on is it shows their footprint. So if it gets anywhere close to that, we're going to be able to get a C4 from below. Wow.
You mean like that? Yep.
Exactly like that.
Oh, that's tough, and that's going to make that's going to make getting the hatches now impossible, as the Kings are going to be able to do their work unless they can get it taken down with the Twitch drone. Now, one of them does go down, still one Twitch drone in hand. They got the mirror. Well, actually, I don't know if that was the important part. Vector going to ring out and take another life. I think it might have been a little bit better use going for those cave claws. Now, we could still see that the cave claw off of the...
Oh! No way. What? That was an unfortunate situation for the Azami. She had, or I'm not sure who that, oh, it must have been the Mirror Deception playing there. Looked like she swung outside from around the generator and didn't realize that Fish was standing right there. So the Azami's playing out in dirt, but boy, that was a big miss there from the ASAKURA team. And they're in game chat. Got to restart after this. Knew that one was coming.
Yep, easy call. Now into a 2v1 with 26 seconds left on the board. It's all on the shoulders of Nomad. They're looking to try and go up to their match point scenario, but defense trying to hold them off and tie it back up yet again. The last 15 going to start to wind down, and that's going to be the shots from Cade. Sniper Chalet. So we're going to tie it back up.
Well played from the defense there, even with that little bit of a whiff. We are going to take a quick pause, though, as the FPS bug rears its ugly head again. And we're going to have to do some restarts on the player sides.
That's right. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, it's going to be the stunning conclusion to the last map. Ayo.
Let's go.
Alrighty, what's up?
Defenders,
Welcome
protect the
back,
bombs
fellow
from being
Siege
defused by
spectators and
attackers.
players. We are all tied up. Both teams 1 round away from taking this to the match point scenario. It's been 2 rounds apiece all the way up until round 8. 1 apiece as we find ourselves tied at 5. This has been a hell of a game, Whiskey. From the stompings on map 1 and map 2 to the equalized playing here on map 3. This is everything we want for a new league.
Yeah, exactly. I was a little worried when we saw that first one come out that it was going to be real
10 seconds
one-sided, trying to figure out how each of these teams has played, but they've definitely put on a show for the stream. It has showed up, and it's been great to be a part of it.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Absolutely.
Perimeter defense.
Okay, so what are we looking at for round number 11? Back on that gym bedroom site. Going to be bringing same kind of operators. We're seeing the clash back to hold that red area. Might to stop some of that projectile now from coming in. And then on the attacker side of it, Callie had a 3K the last time they brought her out inside of the building. 3K, mind you. I just feel like that speaks differently, you know, for Callie play.
Yeah, definitely unusual to see her using the sniper inside the building, right, to take a couple rounds. She was in construction when she got a kill into Master in the corner, so just dangerous with that being played. And boy, when you hit the clash with a Callie, that's almost like a melee hit. It looked like it stopped her electricity and knocked the shield.
Now it's going to be Frost to go down after Saw sees his first bit of gun battle and loses his life in the process. That's going to be body bouncing heavily now in favor of the attacking team. And they're going to put a little bit more of a direct hold towards this hot tub area and try to flush out this defender who's still holding on so tightly inside of the bathroom here, but in a very precarious position. Misdroned.
Oh no. Unfortunate there, but oh, Fish and not Edward, and then Walvis coming in at the last minute there to finish off Wamai, to give F6 a flawless there on round 11. So as we head into round 12, you called it. F6 going to go up on match point first. Didn't do the 2-2-2-2, didn't continue the trend. It's been a back and forth ever since round 8. But F6 getting their first opportunity. So this is match point, map point, series point here in this best of 3.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Okay. We're going to head back up to gym bedroom for this potential last round. Not going to see the castle on board. We are going to, however, have the Azami. We can bring the bandit around to do some potential tricking. Maybe try to hold off that hot tub take that was so huge in the last round. Other than that, we're going to kind of see some similar individuals. Marco bringing out the Thorn.
Now, you talked about wanting them to bring out more traps. Maybe bring out a Capcan. Not going to go with Capcan again, but bringing out the Thorn, I think it's a good alternative. In this case, I think I would have rather have seen the Capcan, like you mentioned earlier, just from a slowdown perspective for this attacking team, because now it has definitely felt more attacker-sided. Again, we went, the first time we saw a defensive win half was the first one here on Clubhouse, but it's felt even more attacker-sided here.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Still going to bring some of that vertical dedication, but it's the sledge this time. So maybe not going to be utilized more for its gadget. Gun, the L85, clapper. And you can see them getting set up and ready to do this yet again. The bandit's there to do the tricking.
Oh, Thatcher's going to come out and... Yes? No? He got it!
Oh, wow.
What happened with Thatcher? He didn't time it correctly and is going to lose out on that battle with the bandit. Oh, that's unfortunate for Figure. That is going to keep that jacuzzi wall closed for now. Going to see whether or not they're going to try and take a second run at it. Looks like he's ready, holding it and waiting. Going to try and take a couple shots maybe on Bandit to try and force him out of that position.
But he's going to get one of them. They are going to open it up. The barriers really help solidify that area, and Bandit is going to die, but not before the heroics of keeping that wall closed. Now it's only opened up in a head hole, and Azami is going to be safe in her little trench that she has built up inside of the gym area here.
Yep, well played there on this side of the defense to keep that one closed. So now they not going to be able to get that jacuzzi wall open, and that is an important push point. They're going to have to rely on some more gunfights here, but right now this ASAKURA team has got themselves bunkered up with deployables, with the Kibas, and as long as they can hold on a little bit longer, not Edward is going to slow that down dramatically, but how's he playing behind the deployable? Jeez, and then Saw answering back from behind the Kiba. Jeez, we are back and forth. It's now a 2v2, 36 seconds left by the time we get there. Unbelievable, my friend.
Oh no, and that's Wamai to go down now into a 2v1. It's all going to be resting on the shoulders of Azami. She's got to be perfect here or the game is going to be over. Now, both of them pushing from that construction area. At the same time, oh my lord, little bit of damage done. That's going to be the plant starting to go down. Oh, no, there we go, and that's going to do it. Figure going to use the L85 to claim Saw's life, and that is going to be a 7-5 victory.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Boy, when we talked about this game at the setup, which team was it going to be? We said that the intel we had been given from the people in the know, from the insiders here in the African League, was that F6 was the team to watch. They were the ones that we wanted to be watching out for. So they showed up here at the last moment. It was huge to start off with, very one-sided on both sides, and then a very even game to end it on Clubhouse. It was a great way to start our entry into this African Gaming League.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast. And just a big thank you to everybody that came out to watch with us. Like we said before, we know there's a lot of Siege that you could be watching. So we appreciate you coming for the couch and staying for the cast here with the Whiskey Boys. And of course, also thank you for the subs and all of the follows this evening. We wouldn't be able to do what we do, and that's talk about Siege if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you very much. Shout out to the ACGL. The Whiskey Boys are here, right? And we loved every single second of it. It was exactly what you'd want for a best of 3. Couple of dominations. There was some quick plant attempts. You know, it was all the drama, which is what we absolutely love. Oh, man, but I think we made it, Whiskey. What do you think?
Yeah, that's right. Again, shout out to the league, to Kixie, and we've definitely got a few more great things coming up. The playoffs in this league are going to have some big names that are a part of it, and that we're going to be bringing a lot more action there too. So definitely looking forward to the league. So appreciate everybody that joined us today to watch, and glad we made it through the cast, my friend.
That's right. So one last thing before we go. If you notice, I am in a snazzy sweatshirt here. This is given to me by the Skyline Gaming community, one of our favorite communities to get involved with. The SiegeDoubleShot has been partnered with for a very long time now. If you want some of that snazzy merch, we'll put it into the Discord. You know, go check it out if you want to get amongst some Siege here in the NA. Very fun tournaments. Just got done with the Dangerous Duos, a 2v2 tournament that went down with a $200 cash prize. So yeah, get amongst it, get around it, as Tom J would say, and we'll put the link right down there in the chat. But we have alas reached the part of the evening where we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Heyo!
Let's go.
You ain't about it.